back in the day, before we had the TV show, we did a pilot for BBC, and not many people have seen it, and it was us playing with the characters. And in there, Chabuddy G's obviously in his portal cabin, which my dad used to actually have and do business out of. Bro, you get a shout out in the pilot. I'm basically, people are calling up this helpline, Not many people have seen it. And
I need to see this.
Bro, Jay Sean you're the music waiting on the waiting thing. And then I'm going, come on, man. And then the line is something like, the line is, these bloody people have been calling me all day. They're on the bloody holding on. Yeah, they're listening to that bloody bench of Jay Sean for 2 hours.
Jay Sean's Basement Banter.
Yes, people, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Basement Banter. I am, of course, Jay Sean, joined by my boys Woody and Todd. People, if you guys haven't done it already, please make sure that you, favorite this podcast and click all the little buttons you need to do to make sure that you never miss an episode, because why would you want to? And make sure if you're watching on YouTube, click the old subscribe and hit the little notifications bell. I still need to figure out the right way to say all this, but you know what I'm saying, right? Just do it. Basically, you don't want to miss this, and you definitely don't want to miss today, because we are joined, it's going to be too much jokes, by Asim Chaudhry, British comedian and actor, writer and co-creator of the hit show People Just Do Nothing. Man, he's also obviously famously known as Chabuddy G. Although I am equally a fan of Raj Delgado and Rupert Khan. People, give it up for Asim Chaudhry. What's happening?
I'm good, bro. How you doing, man?
Oh, we're all right, man. I actually just got my my old Rona test again. Luckily, came back already. That's the difference in America. The rapid thing. Came back in 20 minutes. Negative, so I'm all right.
But I swear the ones that are really quick, they're like the ones you can get from Uncle and that. They're a bit dodgy, innit? Oh, don't worry, son. Go. They'll give you an orange. Go have orange.
Yeah. But you, bruv, I'm glad you recovered, because you had it quite bad, didn't you?
I had the Rona pretty bad, bro. You know what it was? Is that I'm a bit of a Corona health and safety freak. So I'm the guy who pulls up on friends and be like, you dicks, what you doing? And calling up uncle and aunties, what, are you out again? Are you out again? All that kind of stuff. So I'm really OTT with it. I know I am, but and this new strain, man, it must be that contagious, because even a freak like me, I got it. And my little sister was staying with me, and she was going to school, which obviously is always a risk when, you know what I mean. But the weird thing with me is that I didn't think I had it, because I did it because obviously, with our kind of line of work, we're doing tests all the time, So I was still,
exactly.
You know what I mean? And I tested negative the day before. The day after I started getting ill, and I thought, hold on a minute, you can't get symptoms that quick. I thought it's not the Rona. It can't be the Rona. Then in the next 2 days, my chest started getting even more bad. Started coughing more. I thought, nah, it's a chest infection. And I even emailed my doctor, said, Doc, I got a chest infection, blah, blah, blah. And then,
self-diagnosis, classic brown person.
I'll walk it off. I'll go provoke. It'll be fine. One orange,
not orange again.
And honestly, though, you know what it's like with the Asians? They have their own little recipe. The masala chai and that. Fuck.
Vicks, bruv. It's all about the Vicks Vapo Rub.
Oh, my girl loves the Vicks, man. Puts it everywhere. But listen, so then after 3 days, I'm thinking, okay, I'm still feeling shit, but I go, it's not the Rona. Then, Jay, what happened, bro, is that then I couldn't sleep, and I started actually becoming delirious at night. And that's one of the signs. Bro, one night I thought I was watching The Crown, and one night I couldn't sleep. I just couldn't sleep. Body was aching, throat was, everything, all the symptoms. And then I thought I was in the royal family, and I thought my job was to get Prince Charles trainers. I was his crepe guy. And I couldn't sleep because I was like, I'm waiting for a delivery for some Air Force Ones for Prince Charles. And the thing is,
Air Force Ones.
Air Force One. I knew it was bullshit. Like, I knew it wasn't real. And, so I wasn't hallucinating. I knew that this is I knew I had such a high fever that I became delirious. And then it happened another night where I thought I was playing for Newcastle United, you know what I mean? And then I thought, okay, and I was obviously isolating anyway, but I thought, let me go get a test. Me and my girl got the test, and then obviously it was positive. And bro, it was towards the end of the Rona though, so that was like, nearly a week. So I'm really grateful I didn't know, because I think a big part of it is your anxiety, your worry. I think that makes any situation worse.
Yes.
I knew the hospitals were full. So in my mind, if I knew I had the Rona, and I know I'm overweight, I'm Asian, loads of diabetics in my family, all that kind of stuff, that stuff starts playing with you, and you start thinking, fuck, man, can I breathe? Am I breathing all right? But because I just thought it's a flu or it's a chest infection, I thought it was fine. you know. So thank God I only found out towards the end. Obviously I was still shitting it, but my doc was like, you're hopefully you passed the worst. But man, just try it. It's a horrible disease. And this is a perfect thing that my doctor told me. He said some people are so fit and healthy and they've died from this. Some people have very bad health conditions and they don't sometimes even get symptoms. He said it's a lottery. So why do you want to play it? Don't play the lottery. Just assume it will kill you, like without being over the top.
Yeah.
Just be safe, man.
Is it? I have to ask. Is your doctor? Is he an Indian doctor?
No, you know what? He's not actually. He's actually he's one of these not.
You can say Gora. Both of these know what it means. It's fine. I've told them. Yeah.
They know. Yeah. Do they know what
Gora is? The Gora Panchod. Yeah.
You can't say both. Gora Panchod means something very different.
Yeah. It's all right, no.
Are you used to it? Yeah.
Oh yeah, just water off a duck's back now.
Yeah, nice. You got a great Jay. I like it.
Wait, because the reason I ask you is because for years when I lived in Hounslow, obviously at some point,
by the way, big
up Hounslow.
Yeah.
Listen, when I found out you were from Hounslow, bruv, I was bare proud. I was so happy. Let me
tell you something, bro. You are the original heartthrob. I know Chabadi G's like a joke, like Chabadi G's the kebab shop heartthrob. He's like the butter's uncle, bro. You are still the original and only like proper Asian pop star, and from the end, bro. Like you're a legend. You don't know this, but I don't know if you saw. Back in the day, before we had the TV show, we did a pilot for BBC, and not many people have seen it. Yeah, it's not that great, but it's like whenever it's like a demo tape, you know what I mean? And it was us playing with the characters, and in there, Chabadi G's obviously in his portal cabin, which my dad used to actually have and do business out of, and it was hilarious. Like it was, and my Polish wife was the original Aldona, who was actually a real actress, a real woman. She wasn't an actress. She was just someone I used to work with. And, she used to be like, Kurva, shut up. And she used to hate me. But she came and did this one day filming. Bro, you get a shout out in Jay Sean in the pilot. I'm basically, people are calling up this helpline, yeah? Not many people have seen it. And
I need to see this.
Bro, Jay Sean you're the music waiting on the waiting thing. And then I'm going, come on, man. And the line is something like, the line is, these bloody people have been calling me all day. They're on the bloody holding line. Yeah, they're listening to that bloody bench of Jay Sean for 2 hours. And it's it's a little tip of the hat to Jay Sean because it's Hounslow, isn't it?
I love that. That's so nice, man.
I'll try and find it and I'll send it to you because it's so funny. And I'm sure because of the blanket BBC thing, I'm sure they're actually playing the song like through the phone.
Waiting, yeah.
Yeah, they're playing it. So yeah.
Oh, that's wicked, man. No,
a big Hounslow, man. You know what, Jay? What people don't know is that how many amazing people are actually from Hounslow. Like
Same here. I am.
Yeah, are you? Well, there we go. Like, honestly, like, if you want to talk about Hounslow Borough, you're talking Freddie Mercury. You're talking David Attenborough. You're talking Phil Collins. You're talking MIA. You're talking Jay fucking Sean. Like there are some legends. There's some legends from my ends, and I think sometimes Hounslow's like it can be embarrassing. It can be like aunties and uncles and freshies, but mate, I love Hounslow. Like I miss it. I live in East London now. I go back all the time, but do you miss it? Do you miss Hounslow?
Mate, you know what's so funny? Hounslow, if it wasn't for that, it shaped us, man, in every single way. And especially talking about your comedy, the one thing that I loved it so much was because it was so on point culturally. It wasn't like a stereotype of something. You were just hitting all the points, right? Like, so even the fact that you were outside Treaty Centre doing it and, all of that stuff is so relatable that all of us were watching it going, finally, they're just representing it the way it really is.
That's it, bro.
Even by Aldona being Polish, again, it's so spot on.
You know how many Asian brothers are for Polish girls in Hounslow? It's a thing. Yes. Bro, listen, Bullstroke pub, yeah? In Hounslow Central.
Of course.
It's a dangerous pub, yeah? Do not go there, yeah? Don't go there. It's a very dangerous pub. If you go there Friday nights, yeah, it's an official Polish Asian hookup night. I swear to God. Because think about it, a lot of Asian boys who come there, and I'm talking the freshy Asians, not so much the British born ones. They got a bit of money, some of these freshy Asians, yeah. They're doing little dodgy dealings and that. And these Polish girls, they know that this bastard got money, yeah. And they go and they find their sugar daddies. I'm telling you, this is how it happens. And then I've seen it. I know so many people, my dad's friends who've got Polish wives, Romanian, name it. And it's a real thing. And I always say that, whenever people do throw it's a stereotype thing, like this, and Jay, that's what you said was spot on. It's so regionally specific. Yeah. I'm not just doing. Do you know how many Indian accents there are in England alone?
Like, well, yes. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this because, yes, of course, you know, we all know you as an incredible comedian, actor, writer, and co-creator, right, of the People Just Do Nothing. But I also know your other characters, like Raj Looking for Love cracks me up.
So,
He's so fucking weird. But again, he is a real type of relatable character that exists. And also, your Rupert, who is, because... Rupert, you know, he's the Bollywood guy.
I bet you know a lot of Ruperts in your world and the shit you've seen. You probably know very real Ruperts, man. Way more than I know. Actually, I was watching, what was it? It was like the Made in Chelsea, but the Indian version of Netflix, and there were Ruperts everywhere. I don't know what it's called. I forgot what it's called. Ruperts everywhere, bro. I was like, I kind of felt like I might as well quit because you can't really, it's beyond satire. Do you know what I mean? Like it
wasn't Desi Rascals, was it?
No, that's a classic. Don't dare say a bad word about Desi Rascals.
I love that show. Oasis, our boy Oasis.
Yeah, our boy Oasis in it.
My boy's on that. I think everyone had a friend who was on it. Yeah, my boy Prax is on it. Hounslow.
So the Chabadi, I'm going to go back to what you were saying about the accents because I'm sure you do get shit for it. I'm sure. Because even from people from our community who are like, bro, man, you got such an opportunity to put us on the map. Why you got to speak in an accent on that? I'm like, do you hear yourself? Listen to yourself.
Why do we don't talk like that, you dickhead, isn't it, Banter?
I've got friends who are like, oh, lie, yeah, fucking People Just Do Nothing. Yeah, they get fucking Asian brother on there. He's fucking speaking with an accent on that. I go, how are you speaking, you dickhead? He's exactly you.
Jay, let me tell you something. Of course, the accent is regional specific, and it's
wicked.
But also, it's essential because when you do any kind of character, you need to bring a bit of reality to it, and you need to place it regionally. Like even Raj. Believe it or not, Raj is based on when I used to work in a recruitment set in Heathrow, a recruitment agency where I met the original Aldona. And I used to get Indian guys coming in from Goa. Yeah. And they always had these not weird, but, Portuguese names. So they would be like, like one guy was actually called Raj Fernandez Delgado. And I'm looking at this red passport like, you don't look like Jose Mourinho, bro. You look like, Bill Patel, you know what I mean? Yeah. But they come in and they were, some of these guys are really educated. And that's why Raj is saying this. And they would come in really educated, can't get a job because their English is so poor. So they'd come in with science degrees, all kind of medical degrees, whatever. And they're coming in, they're doing cleaning jobs. I'm giving them aircraft cleaning. That's what I was doing. And they were ripping my, they were taking the job off my hands that you wouldn't believe. But they would come in and I have to interview them because they need to have a basic level of understanding of English. So I'll go, hi there, my name's Asim. I go sit down. Raj Delgado Fernandez Martinez, hello. And they'll sit down there.
They're the best. I honestly love us, man. We are hilarious people. We either flip the first name or the last ones. We get too exotic with it, innit?
Yeah. And then so they're sitting there and I'm going, hi, I'm Raj. And it's like, how you doing? And I'm going, okay. And so you're looking for aircraft. You're okay with aircraft? Yeah. I go, so how is your English okay? And then he goes, oh, my name is Raj. I went, no. How's your English? So, and my heart's breaking because I know I can't give him the job because he can't even answer a basic question. But Raj is real. Rupert is very real. I mean, I've seen so many. Rupert, it's horrible, money-loving capitalist, spoiled cunts. That's what they are. And there's millions of them. So, but here's the thing, though. None of them are defined by race. And I mean that with all of them. Chabadi, Raj, Rupert. What makes them funny isn't that they speak with a funny accent. Raj is funny because he has no confidence. It's because he's tragic. It's because he's a dreamer. He wants to fall in love. He's a diehard romantic. Chabadi's funny because he's an eternal optimist. He thinks he's a ladies' man. He's got this ridiculous over-the-top confidence. Rupert's funny because he's a heartless, capitalistic, spoiled prick. None of these guys, Chabadi could be African. Chabadi could be Chinese. Raj could be Polish. It doesn't matter. If you're relying on a funny accent or a race, that's a stereotype. But when you add layers of detail that are specific and real, that's when you have a character that lasts. And that's why I'm not bragging, but that's why Chabadi's last. We live in Jay, you know this. You're from the old school like me. Right now, we live in a meme culture. It's 30 seconds, gone. This is not what we're about, bro. Your stuff's timeless. You know what I mean? Music, comedy, you have to, you listen to your songs now. I can still jam. I can still dance. I can have a good time. Same thing with, hopefully you watch People Just Nothing in 10 years. You can still laugh. It's because we care. We care about our art and we put effort in. So whenever people come with those stereotype questions, bro, I'm ready. I'm ready to. They clearly. I'm ready, bro, because I'm passionate about it.
And you're so right. It wasn't the reason that Chabadi was funny to me was exactly what you said. It was the fact that he was so eternal, almost Like you just couldn't
So
beat
determined.
you couldn't beat him down.
No,
He loved his boys so much he was gonna get them somewhere. Don't worry, I'm the best manager. I'm gonna fucking It
it's
was
Del Boy,
so
man.
good.
Del Boy. Del Boy was
Yeah.
inspirations. Eternal
And
optimist. Never give up.
and that's what sleeping in the back of the van, but still so happy with his little setup is wicked.
He's like, there's strangely, and there's a lot of people in my life who I remember when I was, even if I'm doing well, I sometimes look at people from the ends of stuff and I think, yeah, of course, like, they want to, they want to achieve more, but they content, a lot of them. They're happy within their world and they don't want to, they don't have, some people, not everyone has to be ambitious and be a star and be the front line. Some people just like living their life. They like the normality of life and they're content with that. You know what I mean? And sometimes I used to envy that because I always have this insatiable, I need to do this. I need to be validated. Some people don't give a fuck. They're not on social media. They're just happy, man. They just with their friends, go to the pub, go, you know what I mean? Go to eat out, whatever they want to do. And I always envied that because I'm like, but in a way, that's what makes people like me successful because we do have that desire. But also, there's nothing wrong with just being a normal person, living your life, man, and being content. It's
I
all
don't
about
feel like with you. I don't feel like it was necessary. I can't believe that it was just because you wanted to be famous. I feel like because it's so much art behind your stuff. Everything's carefully thought out, and clearly, like Adam and I, A, huge fans of comedy, but also B, huge fans of just the depths and layers of characters of TV and film, and understanding why that person is so brilliant, why you pine for them. If you take someone like, I don't know, Saul from Breaking Bad, he's a fucking bad person, really, but you love him because you can tell that he's just got, how do you want someone like that to still win? And it's that kind of writing and that kind of character depiction that you've managed to do, which I really respect.
How do you thread that needle, Asim? How do you thread the needle where a lot of humor is derived from those, shall we say, racial stereotypes, or you're being accused of some people like, capitalizing on racial stereotypes? How, as a comedian, is kind of like woke culture, which is kind of stifling, I think, comedy. How do you thread that needle?
I think it's, I think if you're relying on stereotypical situations to get laughs out of, then I mean, I don't personally think we've done that much. I think Chobani has done a funny accent, don't get me wrong, but Chobani's not running around and throwing curry on his face, or he's not really using any tropes. Really, the tropes that we're using are universal tropes. Like if you take, for example, Grinder from Corrupt FM, that the main MC, he thinks he's the best, and he thinks he's better than Biggie, he thinks he's better than Wiley. So those kind of tropes, they always based around delusion. And name me the best comedy and I'll show you all the delusions within that character, within that world. So Chobani is delusional. So Chobani is not based on, his humor is not, he's with his wife Aldona and he's going, oh, my beautiful Aldona, and all that. He's deluded into thinking that a woman like her, who's a very pretty blonde woman, is with him because she likes him. We all know that she's with him for money. And that's based on my real life observations from what I saw from those Asian kind of sugar daddies around Hounslow who are taking their lovely Olga and Aldona with their Mercedes. They love it, and so I think the way that you deal with that is that you break it down. You say, okay, well, tell me what examples do you think are racist? Oh, what about the way he speaks? That's the way they speak, bro.
Exactly.
What about the B's and W's? Bro, that's what happens. My dad.
That's what they drive.
My dad answers the phone like that. He'll go, hello. And that's how I got it from. I got it from that.
I love that.
There's no stereotype. That's my dad saying,
because he's trying to act like he's English. He's trying to act
posh English voice. Hello.
But I guess a follow-up question would be, how do you write a character, and if they're based on real people, if you're writing it from an experience of another person, like how do you avoid that criticism? Like, or how do you deflect that criticism if it's provided back?
To be honest with you, like, weirdly, this is a weird one. I have written quite a few characters that are based on, like, even Rupert is actually based on my uncle, who is a millionaire, who's made a lot of money, and he's not camp, he's not flamboyant, but he's got that kind of arrogance, that rich arrogance, and he kind of knows it was based on, and my dad knows a lot of Chobani G's based on him, not all of it, but a big chunk. My dad doesn't really see, he's like, well, I think Chobani G's a great guy, because it plays to your narcissism in a weird way. I'm not saying they're narcissistic, ego. So like, say if you're doing a song and it's about someone and it's line, and even if they don't know, they know they might be, and even if it's negative or even if it's not, doesn't shine the best light on them, they are kind of like, wow, that's a lot of I
must have meant so much. Exactly.
They live in our mind rent free. because we're writing about them. So
Right.
no matter how much, and that happens oddly quite a lot with, you know, like with the dramas and when people are writing about stuff or about people, you think there's going to be this huge drama and I'm like, oh God, you know, like Uncle's going to be really pissed. Oh, are they ever going to? Really, it's not, because you know, and also they don't see themselves like that. That's the thing. When I remember once I was speaking to Dad and I was like, you know, like Chabuddy's a bit dodgy in that. He was like, he's not dodgy, he's smart. And I'm like, oh, you think he's smart? Because that's what, you know, that's him. He you know, he thinks, oh, bloody hell, he got all the peanut dust, he sold it good, that's a bargain. You know what I mean? So it goes back to delusion, and that's what makes people funny. Deluded characters are funny. I look at you right now in the camera and go, I'm really skinny. Like, and you know I'm not skinny, but the delusion, it's like they lied so much to themselves, they believe their own lie, and that's funny to me, man.
Right. No, you're right. And it's like, even like in The Office, right? Why did we fall in love with David Brent? It was that
delusion.
You know, and you pined for him at the same time, because you could see all that he had a good heart. Yeah, you know, he's just wanting to make people happy. But going back to that and talking about The Office and stuff like that, man, the fact you got to work with Stephen Merchant, and I'm sure that you must have loved The Office just like we did, and then probably just thought, bloody hell, here's the matey. Isn't that weird? It's weird, isn't it? It's happened to me. Like people like idols of mine that I grew up listening to, the reason I start singing, and then you're doing a show with them.
But with Jay, is it different with you though? Because I feel like you blew up around the same time as a lot of legends as well, even on the US hip hop and R&B scene. So did you not? Your growth was like, of course, you know, you're there and you're feeling like fuck. Who were some of the legends that I'll answer your question because
yeah, of course.
But I wanted to it's interesting for me. Who were some of the legends that you were like had to pinch yourself and be like, am I doing? Because I feel like you were always on that level. You know, when you were really hitting those songs. But they were, I feel like for example, like with someone like Lil Wayne or that era, I feel like it came up around the same time, or am I getting my times kind of wrong there?
No, it was, I signed to Cash Money just as Cash Money's, everyone started blowing up. So Drake, Nicki, Wayne, Tiger, you couldn't get hotter than them. And I was there, right? We all came up at the same time. Wayne before us.
Of course.
Right? But when
that was
I came
like the
to
original
America,
Wayne, though, isn't it? That was before he changed his style and everything. That was the old school Wayne, I remember. So
I remember being at Drake's our first album listening party, and and it was just about 10 of us, and we're there in the room, and I'm chatting to him, and here's me now going, I'll tell you something, mate. I think you're going to blow up. I think
something about you, kid. You're going to do all right, kid.
I think you got some good ones.
You need to work on your singing a bit, mate. That's a bit iffy. Your rapping's not bad, mate. Your rapping, C minor, C minus.
I was that wanker from England, but again, the thing is, it was so brilliant because I was so oblivious to the culture here in America, right? So no word of a lie, this really happened. So the first time I met Birdman, I didn't realize that like he already loved my music, so he knew me as the Write It guy. That's all he kept saying because he fell in love with the song Write It.
Right.
He's like, yeah, that's that Write It guy. And then Slim's like, yeah, that's him. And he's like, so Slim comes up to me, he's like, say, bro, I'm gonna tell you to write a hook for Baby. And I went, you want me to write a hook for Birdman? And he's like, yeah, write a hook for Baby. So I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, maybe, all right, cool. Maybe it's like a test. I want to see if I'm a good songwriter.
Right.
So Baby's sitting there and he's just playing PlayStation and shit, and a little fucking blunt. And here's my fucking straight out of England ass goes up to him, and I'm like, all right, mate, I'm just wondering, in this song, what kind of vibe are you on? Are you sort of like chasing the girl, or are you playing hard to get, or she left you heartbroken? You know, what kind of vibe are we on? And you couldn't get more culturally different. And that's what made everything so brilliant. So he never had a weirdo like me from England. I became his little mate.
Yeah, you therefore quite exotic as well, like an Asian British guy who's making these amazing. You must have been like really different from anything they've ever seen.
This is not that they did. They thought I was no idea. They thought Spanish, Dominican. And then I tell them, you know, I'm from England, and it's just like, what is that? And it's just completely it was just a different world. And so for me, I think like you said, you don't sort of realize you're with them. But it's because you're already rocking. So for you, I guess, by the time you got to meet Steve Merchant, you're already a fucking star anyway. So you're kind of in the same.
Well, yeah, there is that. There's 100% that element. but there's also that element of like, I mean, I'm sure that you're the same as well. Like Stephen, but the thing with Stephen Merchant in particular is that he's an old school legend. Like, you know, The Office it came out when we were in school for me. So I remember it from those days. Then obviously, you know, it's shaped our comedy and our humor, I think. I think it shaped all our humor, you know, the way that we do stuff, that awkwardness that we like, the delusion that we like in our comedy. I definitely fanboyed him. And the same thing with like people like David Mitchell and like, you know, Charlie Brooker, people like that. When I work with these guys and like, you know, bruv, I'm like, it's been announced today, like I'm on a new Netflix show for, and I'm playing Cain and Abel, and I'm doing it with Sanjeev Bhaskar, who I've never worked with before, never met him. And that's what I mean, bro. Sanjeev Bhaskar, goodness gracious me, bro. How important was that show to a young Asian kid growing up in London who didn't see anyone who looked like him? Apart, I mean, even you, bro, you were, in terms of representation, you guys were repping. You were obviously a bit later, but you guys were repping. So I always pay homage to like people from, you know, like people like Merchant and Sanjeev Bhaskar, people like the Amir Sayal, all these kind of people, like, because even Riz, like, even though I work with Riz and he's a mate of mine, I still remember Riz doing it from back in the day. So even when I meet Riz, I show respect to these people and I thank them, and I still can learn from them. There's also one thing where you also can't, like, yeah, you can fanboy, yeah, you can be pinching yourself, but also give yourself some credit as well and be like, listen, man, I worked hard to get on your level, and you know what, you're a legend, but hopefully I will surpass you. That you got to be competitive. I want to make the best shit. I don't want to be like, I'll never be able to beat The Office. Well, deep down, I know I'll never be able to beat The Office. But bruv, we'll give it a go. You know what I mean? I'm going to try and make the best shit, of course. And that comes from, and then, you know, it's a Rick Ross line. I remember a song where he's like, you know, your rivals become your idols. No, sorry, your idols become your rivals. And it's like cocky, but it's kind of true sometimes that your idols are now your rivals. I'm going up for the same roles with people that I used to, you know, still think of my heroes. I'm co-starring with some of my heroes. Same bill, same billing, same bag. We're getting the same bag. Maybe I'm getting more. Maybe I don't know.
That's mad, isn't it?
But that is mad. Also, yeah. You need that as well. You can't just constantly be fanboying and be like, oh my God. No. I mean, pay homage, do a bit of fanboying, but understand you got talent, mate, and you got ability and you got ambition too. And they respect that as well, because they had the same thing with the other generation, the one before them. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a balance to it, man. But respect is always key, man. Pay homage, you know, to the ones who built this shit for us, really. You know? Yeah. Who were some of your inspirations early? Because even in Hounslow, I know, like, around West London, London in general, like, you know, the music scene was so, it was UKG, it was pirate radio, it was drum and bass. Where did you know, One Nation, Jungle, all that kind of stuff. Were you involved with that? And like, how did you get into like being such a seasoned like R&B kind of like don?
Bro, let me tell you. So I grew up MCing. I was rapping ever since I was 13, but it wasn't garage MCing, it was hip hop. So I was heavily into hip hop, and I was in this group. It's terrible, but the group's name, I was also in private school, so I was very nerdy, but also hard into hip hop. So our group name was Compulsive Disorder, and it was a terrible name. CD, CD, the fucking CD in that. But the raps were sick, bruv. Yeah. I mean, I was on that because it was all on that battle rap shit at the time. Right? Cussing you for no reason, whoever this person was. So those are the kind of raps that I would do. So I remember, you remember Choice FM, of course, right? Of course. Back when Choice FM was Choice FM. Yeah. And there was a show called Commander B's Night Flight. And you'd have to call in and you just rap your best verse. I remember. Yeah. So I'm 16 at the time. I'm studying for my GCSEs. The next day I have an exam. I'm on the phone at midnight, bussing lyrics down the phone. Listen, I got through, bang. He's like, all right, you're into the next round. Next round ended up being 100 people, chopped down to 10, 20 people. So we're performing at the Hackney Empire. Me and my cousin, two brown boys. He's a Sardar as well, so he's got a turban and a beard. Everyone else, black. Yeah, cool. That's how it was, man. Yeah. We were the only two brown boys, and that's when I just didn't give a shit. I was like, fuck yeah, man. Look what we're doing. Oh, bro, you know what? I can relate to that so scarily, so closely. Like that, you know, that. Do you remember Jump Off? Yeah, of course. Yeah, Ara and Harry all them, man. Yeah. Jump Off and Mean Fiddler. That's where I first saw Pro Green. And I saw Ray's battle back in the day. Yep. And I remember I went there. I don't know what I was battling MC as well. I was a battling MC. Yeah, because I know you rap as well. Yeah.
but back in the day, I was heavily into battle rap as well. So I went to West Thames and I became my battle rap champion there. Yeah. So I battled like 3-4 guys and I started building up the confidence. Then my boys would start egging me on. They were like, yo, Asim, they were like, bro, you should go jump off. I was like, nah, man, jump off. That's like proper.
The next
jump
level.
off back in the day was not, no disrespect. It was not don't flop. It wasn't, it was, you would not find, you'd find 2 or 3 white people there. 98% black crowd, some Asians, mainly black crowd. Yeah. And they were there for the booty shaking battle, the rap battle, and it was fucking, it was a proper, it's what you, in your mind, it's what you envisage a hip hop club, not 8 Mile, no, it was real, Mean Fiddler, King's Cross, all that kind of stuff, I went there and I think I was 15 or 16, and I went there and I battled there. And I went on stage and I got to the final. I lost and I got booed and I got cheered. And bro, it was exactly what you were saying, bro. An Asian kid there, a little fat Asian kid on stage trying to battle rap, And bro, I thought to myself, if I can do this, I can do anything. And it actually helped me, my confidence hugely. It helped form my wit as well, because battle rap, you need a combination of freestyle and written.
Exactly.
And you need to also have thick skin. There's going to be fat jokes. There's going to be Asian jokes, Muslim jokes, terror. I had all rebuttals ready for whatever.
Exactly.
And I thought, if I can do that, then going onto the front of a camera and being funny, it's nothing, bro. Like, for you going in front of 50,000 people, that's nothing. You know what I mean? If you go hack the Empire and go to a proper aggressive black hip hop crowd who are waiting for you, and also it doesn't matter what color you are, everyone's waiting for you to fail in battle.
Anyway,
they're waiting for you to mispronounce one word and then boom, he's whack, game up. Bro, it was horrible. So man, I could so relate, and it's actually, I'm grateful for those kind of lessons. You know what I mean?
It's amazing, isn't it? I really do think that hip hop shaped me so much, and I feel like the same with you as well. In terms of, like you just said, all of the stuff you said, I agree with. But even improvisation, because freestyle, we had to do that. I had to freestyle. I had to think on top of my. So even when it comes to like my shows now, I'm not that artist. If the music fails and the lights come down, but my mic's still working, bruv, I got you. Watch. I think I've actually
seen it. I think I've seen a clip of you where something was out of sync or your headphone wasn't working, and you were just like, fuck it. And you just started going, and the crowd went nuts. So like, I know that's nothing for you. And that is a tool you will have for life, bro. And you can use that in any situation. It actually just helps you be calm. It helps you be like, you know what I mean?
100%. So talking about improvisation, what I loved is the fact that I read that because when People Just Do Nothing came out, I had to find out. This is way before this. I had to find out about you guys. I was like, who are these mateys who have just smashed it? So like exactly the kind of comedy I love. Who are these guys? So I did my research on you. Then I found out so much of it was improvised and it wasn't necessarily too scripted. Can you tell me about that? Because that sounds amazingly and so fun to me. That sounds like.
Well, it was like very much like the Office technique, and I spoke to Merchant about this as well. He actually said this great quote. I mean, the shows are very similar. We are completely from the same cloth as the Office and Spinal Tap.
100%.
We studied them hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And what we do, Merchant actually said, I told him, bro, say something funny for my Insta. And he went, I love Asim's show. He goes, I think out of all the Office ripoffs, his one's one of the better ones.
So good.
He's the Don, man. He went, and not even the best. He went, his is one of the better ones.
You can't even get mad.
You can't get mad. He's right.
It's so good.
Yeah, what it is, it's completely scripted. Like, we all work on it. Steve is our main writer, structure and everything. He's the guy who forms it all with our notes and with our little things. But it's so collaborative that it gets to a point where there's so many eyes on it. There's so many cooks, but in a good way in terms of quality control. I remember having a meeting once, and I always tell people this about one lady Mish line that we spent 2 days on one line, bro, just debating if the line was good or bad or funny. Really? 2 days. And the producers and the execs were like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Just move on. And we were like, no, because this is what I mean. It gets like that. We start getting really, really over analytical about every line. So every line is very meticulously scripted. But saying that, when we get on, because of the way our director works, Jack Clough, who's a fucking genius, we'll get a written one done. We'll get 2 or 3 scripted ones done until the director's happy. Then, bro, he will just let us go mad and he will improvise. And then what it turns into a game. It turns into who can make each other crack up. That's what it turns up. Who can do the wildest shit, because the director's not going to shout cut. That's one thing. With a mockumentary, the worst thing you want is a director who's looking at the clock and going cut, and you're like, what are you cutting for, bro? I'm about to kill it. And so he's the complete opposite, where the producer's whispering in his ear like, to Jack, we're running out of time, we're gonna go over 100. He doesn't give a fuck. He won't call cut. So the way that you get called cut is that you have to make someone laugh, and that creates this environment where you're all trying to corpse and make each other laugh. And then you get, I mean, I would say 60 to 70% of the best stuff in that show throughout the whole 5 series have been improvised. I would say that the best moments have been spur of the moment things, and there's nothing that beats that, man. That you could write, 100 years and you won't be able to come up with that it's like, when you're with your boys and that moment just happens, something so funny where you can't plan it and everyone is crying, like you can't stop, like that is what the magic, that's magic. And if you can capture that on film, then hopefully you will have something really great there.
You were all boys, but from college, right?
Yeah, we're from college. So like Beats, Hugo, he was the best producer in my college. He was a sick producer, and that's how I met him, through his ex-girl. And then his ex-girl was like, "Yeah, there's like this battle rapper like Asim. He's proper sick. Like you should probably like do some tunes with him or something." And then I met, he's broken up with her, so it's fine. I can do her accent. And then I met Hugo.
You actually sounded like Mish though.
Yeah, well, no, but it's from Brentford, isn't it? Isleworth.
Right,
a lot of girls are saying. Oh my! Like once Hugo told me this. Once he goes, on my days, he told me this one rude girl from his ends, because he used to live in Brentford. She called his house phone up. Back in the day, like people used to call up house phones. She called his house phone up, and she heard some bullshit gossip that he was spreading or something, which he wasn't. But he picked up, and she went, "Yeah, is that Hugo?" And he went, "Yeah." And she went, "Oi, listen, bruv, I beg you don't chat my name on road." And he was like, "What?" He's like, "Who the fuck is this?" And she just hung up. And it's just like, anyway, it was just like that back in the day.
It's so good, isn't it?
Yeah, Hugo, and through Beats, through Hugo, I met like Steve and Seeper, and Seeper was an incredible MC, and Steve was this really articulate guy, and and did English. So it was a good combination of like, and then I went on to do film and broadcast. I had the cameras, and it all just came together, man. It was very organic. But yeah,
none of you were trained actors, though, were you? Or did you? Were you trained actors?
Nah, bro. I got kicked out of my drama in Heathlands. I got kicked out. I did drama.
Heathlands? Oh my god, bro!
I got kicked out, bro. My drama teacher was a bitch, man. I love Heathlands.
Why did you get kicked out?
Oh, you know what, bro? It's one of those things where you have two types of teachers. You have one teacher where like you could get away with murder. Like I could literally go in the class and scream cunt, and she'll go, Asim. Or you breathe wrong and you get a detention. And this was the latter. So she just didn't like me. And I think she just I've always been very loud, very attention seeking. I was a fucking little shit in school. But obviously I was talented because, I had all this energy. I was making music albums, rap battling. I had a creative energy, but you need a good teacher to harness. And I had some good teachers that I remember. Did nurture that. But what happened is that me and my mate, we look quite alike, me and my boy Nix, so we were in drama.
Nix on that, fucking Nix.
Yeah, Nix that, Nickel in that,
yeah. I know fucking Nix, yeah.
Cranford, Rockies in there. Rockies, yeah. Big up Rockies, by the way. If you know, you know.
Amazing.
So anyway, my mate threw a rubber at the teacher's head, the back of her head, in drama. She turned around, and she thought it was me. And my boy was even going, "No, miss, I threw it." And she was like, "I know who threw it. Asim, come here." She kicked me out of the class, right? She kicked me out. But this is on my Wikipedia, actually. Yeah, this is how deep it is. Because I've told this story so many times, but it's fine.
It's probably fucking Nixon there who wrote it. He probably put it up.
Nixon wrote it, yeah, the bastard.
It's his claim to fame, innit? So fucking in school, I fucking threw that up in his head, innit? That's why he fucking going to acting in that.
That was me. And she turned around, she kicked me out of the class, and then she said, "You need to earn your grade back now," because she's going to give me a U as the last year. And then I thought, okay, I'm going to try hard because I actually do like drama. I said I really did enjoy it. You know what I mean? So then I wrote the group's play. We did a final year play, and it was called The Poppadom Father. It was an Asian version of The Godfather. It was really good. You know what I mean? It was about India. Yeah, you come to me on the day of my daughter's wedding, you bad job, all this kind of shit. Yeah. And I gave myself a little role because I thought if I'm not going to get graded, then you know what I mean, it's no point me. But I'll write it. I'll write and I direct it. I did it. It was the best play in the whole year. We won the award for it. And then and then I asked her, like, what do you think? Or give me a review. You going to grade me? And she still said no, bro. Like, she just had it in for me. And my whole class, not my whole class, my whole team, they all wrote a letter to her saying, look, I think you should give him a chance. She just didn't want to grade me, bro. And yes, I know I was still coming late. I was still high and smoking weed every day. But bro, like, you sometimes as a teacher, you have to be like, this is a 15-year-old kid. Like, you have to look past from certain things and go, he's got talent, but she didn't see it. And I actually, and you know what? Fuck her. Look at me now.
Yeah. I was just going to say, that must be that much sweeter to know that she's looking at the TV going, fuck.
You know what? I was going to actually say it at the BAFTAs, but I thought allow it. You know, just
I was going to say.
No, but fuck that. I'm not pissed off over it. I'm over it. I'm over it.
Okay.
But what I didn't like, that really knocked my confidence. Even as a confident boy, I then went on not to do any acting. I thought, I can't act. I'm not good at it. And I went on to do a technical role where I went to do media studies and film and broadcast. And Chabuddy just came on by accident. I was filming. I'm still a technical guy. I'm still like filming and cameras and all that. So it knocked my confidence to be like, I can't act. I can't do that. And I didn't have the qualifications to prove it. I got a U. So that is quite powerful if you think about it, man, where like teachers have that power. I always say you will never forget a good teacher and you will never forget a bad teacher. And I still angry when that happens because I felt, yes, I know I was, naughty, but I didn't deserve not to get graded, bro. No. Like, that's a kid. You got to give a kid a chance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You look at the plus side. This is how I always like to look at it. I guess I'm just like optimistic like that. And I think about things like that. Even with my bruv, common knowledge to a lot of people now. I was in medical school and that's when I got my degree. And then there are times where you could look back and, I do look back at all the uncles who are like, what an idiot. Like, what's he doing? He's never going to make it. Right. But then I look at that and I think all of the steps in my life, even if I had got into like music earlier and never got into medicine or whatever, I wouldn't have, in those 2 years, I wouldn't have then met all the people I did along the way that led me to then meeting the person in America, etc. Right? So everything happens for a reason. So maybe the fact that she did knock your confidence and you got to learn the other side of the industry has helped you. You probably never would have learned that side.
I never thought about it like that. Yeah, you're right, man. And I put a lot of emphasis on that technical side, which actually has made me very independent. And you know what? Lockdowns really made me notice that. I remember when everyone was like, listen, I need to do a podcast or I need to make a song. I need to film something. Can anyone got a camera? And I'm like, I've been making my own shit for fucking decades, bro. Like, since year 7, I've been recording in my home, EJ, sock over the mic, learning techniques, YouTubing stuff. I love it. I love being self-sufficient. I don't want to rely on anyone for fuck all. So maybe you're right, Jay. Maybe the fact that I did, that made me push to go, okay, well, if I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be in front of the camera. I'll be behind it and I'll learn everything I need to learn. So then I can go and film, YouTube stuff. And that's what I did. So yeah, definitely a positive spin on it.
Yeah, I think I try to look at it like that. When you're doing comedy, like I always think about this, right? I fucking love comedy and I love being an idiot. I'm the funny guy amongst my friends. And I'm the confident guy because of the media. So that's like a double-edged sword. So I can do that in front of my mates. But then you ask me to go on stage and go and do what you can do and go and tell jokes and stuff like that, a whole different bag. That's not what I do, right? So
you could do it. You could do it, Jay.
No, but what I'm so much, I mean, it's so fun. But for me, I guess the question I'm asking is, when it becomes your job. Singing for me was my hobby, then became my job. So when I go somewhere now and someone's like, where should we go after we're all fucking smashed? Let's go fucking karaoke. I'm like, fuck you, mate. Last thing I'm doing.
You should be doing it. Karaoke. That's not fair.
I've tried for years and he never does.
I never go. And they're like, I don't get it. You're a singer. What? I'm like, yeah. Because when I grab the mic, it becomes a job again. Because I can't actually fuck up in karaoke. If I do, people are going to be like, oh my, bro, he must use fucking auto-tune on that.
Auto-tune,
right? So then it becomes your job. So my question, sorry if I just want to get it out, because I really want to know your answer. You're clearly naturally funny, but when it became your job, do you still enjoy listening to other people? Do you still laugh the same way you would at other people's jokes, or do you now critique them and go, wasn't that funny? I would have set it up like that. Does it affect the way you view comedy?
Not me. No, because I'm not, like I said, none of us are, we didn't go Edinburgh Festival. We're not none of us are stand-ups. We're not comedy nerds. I am a comedy nerd. I love watching comedy. I'm not that guy. Like, when you watch panel shows and you watch all the comedians and they're not laughing at each other's jokes, they're all like,
that's what I mean.
What's that about, man? Listen, I truly believe if you're really a funny if you're really a funny person, then you'll be funny with other people. You'll bounce on people. You'll set people up. It's about, man. Listen, it's a team game, man. Comedy is a team game. The way I would say that because I've come up from an ensemble. Don't get me wrong. I can go out and just be funny on my own. I can do that. That's no problem. It's not as fun as going and playing around with your mates, man. And
no, it's not.
It's not as fun.
Nothing to me is
No,
more
you know,
fun than a belly laugh with your mates, innit?
oh man, there's not like honestly, I still think the funniest people in my whole. I mean, I work with some of the funniest guys in the world. You know, my Corrupt FM team, all of them, Seeper, Steve, Hugo, all of them are hilarious. Lily, like the girl, like they're all hilarious people. But I swear to God, the funniest people I know is Sonny Patel from Croydon. My old boy from Hounslow. You know what I mean? My Wasim Ahmed from Feltham. They're the funniest people I know, man. But the thing is, they can't. If you put a camera in front of them, they act acting differently. That's the problem. But in terms of actual, my dad's one of the funniest guys I know. I put a camera on him, he acts acting weird. He go, hello, and all that shit. Bro, some of the funniest people will never make it in terms of front of the camera because they start performing. And you don't want them
and they get in their head. It's true, they get in their head.
So, no, man, I don't analyze comedy like that, man. I think that ruins, it takes out all the room. You know what I don't get, and I know this is quite an American thing. Maybe Jay, you've seen this. There's like improv classes where they're like, I went to improv today, and I was like, I was doing improv, and we were learning about how to improv. Learning about how to improv, bruv. Like that's like learning how to freestyle. You can't learn how to freestyle. You need to just do it. You need to feel it, bro. It's not. There's no. So I know a lot of actors do improv, and there's the game. Have you played the game? There's rules, and like, okay, I'm this guy in improv, and you could be that guy in improv. And I'm like, bruv, like just have a laugh and see what happens. Take a risk. That's what it is. Improv is taking a risk. You in your head, you're going, a joke comes in, and you're going, did I say that?
Yeah.
Most people don't say it; they just keep it in. But say it.
Yeah.
You might flop, or you might be the fucking funniest cunt in the room. So just take the risk, man. And that's take a risk.
Yeah, I love that. I absolutely love that. It's so true. I saw something the other day, and it goes, the reason you're not winning is because you're afraid people are gonna laugh at you for. Well, this is definitely not what the quote said because that was really long-winded. But it was along the lines of. Yeah,
do it.
The reason
you're
not, it was like the reason you're not winning is because you're afraid people will laugh and for the wrong reasons, right? So like, if I thought of something and I'm like, I think that's gonna win, but I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna post it because people are gonna be like, what's he doing? Why is Jay Sean doing that? You don't know. That could have been the one moment that changed your fucking whole trajectory.
So true. Take the risk, and man, like the older I get, the more I believe in my gut instinct. Fucking that shit is powerful, man. Go with your instinct. Never doubt your instinct because it's probably right 90% of the time. And the
what
other
would you do, Asim?
Yeah, go on.
If like right now, because clearly, like you said, when you guys were going through it with being so meticulous about each line, if tomorrow, let's say somebody you really respected, like a massive showrunner or a director said he wants to take your series, people just do nothing, bring it over to America and do what they did to like so many British comedies and just fucking take it over to America. But let's do a little tweaks, man, because the American audience, they don't get that kind of American humor. So let's change a bit of blah, blah, blah. How far, or would you even budge?
Well, you know what? Funny you said that, man. It already happened like a year or two ago. It already happened. They Amazon bought the rights to do an American remake, and we had basically no creative input in. Yeah, it happened. But
it's in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it's set in Vegas. But the reason why you probably never heard of it because they made it and it just got cancelled.
No.
And it just got swept under the rug, and they were like, "Don't worry about nothing to see here, nothing to see here." And I can't really comment on it too much because I don't know. I don't.
Of course.
I mean, what I would say is that
you fucking still get paid on that.
Yeah.
That's all that your mom and dad care about. I'm sorry, beta, but they give you money, but that's.
You know what, bro? Going back to Stephen Merchant, actually, when it was all happening, I was filming that Christmas film with him at the time when it was all going to go through and everything. And I asked him, obviously, because I thought, well, this is the best guy in the world to ask with the US remake, which is arguably the greatest remake of any British show ever. Like in terms of the success and everything. It was a great remake. I asked him, like, Stephen, I was like, how should we approach this? Should we get involved? Like, what should we, what should we do? And he said, listen, he goes, I'll give you some advice. Stephen and Ricky weren't that involved at all. They let them kind of do their own thing, right? He said, let them do their own thing. He said, if it's a success, right, everyone will go, well, of course it's a success. It comes from, this legendary show, this good stock. And then I went, okay. And he goes, and if it's a complete fucking failure, people will say, well, you shouldn't mess with genius. And I went, win-win.
Yeah, and you can say, "Hey, I didn't have anything to do with it."
No, I didn't have anything to do with it.
I didn't have anything to do with it.
I don't do it, but you shouldn't mess with genius. So you kind of, and even if it goes really well, then you go, well, of course, because look at the inspiration.
Right.
You know that. So it didn't work out, but that doesn't mean that we can't re-look at that. Have another look at that, because I actually think it can work in a different environment, a different setting. I mean, I think. I know the music is very niche and all that, but I think the characters are very unique. I mean, I think Chabuddy could work in America. I think there's millions of Chabuddys in America, I
was going to ask how you address that character. Because I met all the guys when you guys had your People Just Do Nothing release party in Hollywood. Like I met Steve and Hugo and
yeah. I wasn't there.
No, I know. And then I edited your video with Post Malone, and I edited the other one with that other guy we won't talk about. We'll cut that bit out. But yeah, I edited the Post Malone clip, and that was amazing. I really enjoyed that.
I didn't even know that he was cancelled until the other day. I was one of my fans posted a clip of it, me talking to Ron Burgundy, not Ron Burgundy,
Jeremy.
We'll just say Burgundy.
We'll say Burgundy. And I didn't know, and then someone was like, "Oh my God, Chabud's talking," and I was like, "Fucking hell, God, you don't know, do you?" Fucking hell. But I mean, he was a weird guy, very.
Oh weird. yeah. But I picked that up. But the authenticity,
got paid in cash in the toilet. Got paid in cash at the hotel. That's how dodgy it was. I was like, "What's going on here?" It's like, and his ball sack was massive. Like not in and I don't mean that as a compliment. I mean, like, it looked like there was something wrong with his sack.
A disease. Yeah.
Bro, he looked like he needs to get it checked out. But that was weird, man.
But no, what I was saying was like the authenticity of like you boys when you came over here, like you smashed it. There was a big party up on Neuer House. They did a live set, and then obviously there was a big Brit contingent that came out to see him. So yeah, I'm sad, obviously. Yeah, I think you should revisit it, because I loved when you came out over here, and I think there's definitely going to be a way of bringing it out.
But I think the lesson we learned is that we might need to be a bit more involved in it.
I think honestly, there's such a difference, man. American humor is slowly changing. It is because of the influence of the British humor comedy that has been winning in America. But it is so vastly different. Like. So different. Adam and I talk about it all the time. The reason we're so close to each other is because if I lost touch with that British bants, I would lose my mind here. Because I try it. When I'm out in LA, I'm just goofing around the way I would even in interviews, and they're like, what? And I'm like, fuck, man, why don't you guys understand? Like, it's so hard and frustrating sometimes. And, I think it would be interesting, like, if it got remade, and then you watch it, and then there's like the sycophantic relationship that happens between Beats and Grinder, but like it's overplayed too much, or it's kind of and then you go, oh, you fucked it, man. It wasn't meant to be that blatant. It was kind of, do you know what I mean? Like there's a little bit. That's why I think the US office, I'm not shitting on it, I don't find it funny, because I felt so in love with the UK. I was looking at it going,
Same with the In-Betweeners.
Those slights of David Brent, but too overly done.
How much of the American Office did you watch?
I probably didn't give it much of a chance.
Me neither.
And you're completely entitled to your opinion here. I'm going to send you a YouTube video, yeah? Basically, the American Office fucked up so hard in the first season because they tried to make a copy of the British one, and the first season is basically trash.
Dry.
Yeah? It's so shit. They try and make Steve Carell into David Brent, and bro, there's an amazing video about what they did. They were about to cancel the show, and the transformation they did with the main character was Steve Carell. They made him they put more makeup on him. They made him a bit more smarter. They cut his hair. They made him more lighter, and they didn't want to make a David Brent. They didn't want to make it depressing. And then from series 2, I think it actually better and better. But I hear what you're saying, because when I first watched it, the first series, I was like, nah. No, not even touching the UK one. No, and I still, the UK Office is still the holy grail for me.
Sure,
2 seasons, best Christmas special of all time.
Done.
It's perfect TV. You can't. It's like, with music. It's like, it's like Nas. The confidence of Nas is dropping Illmatic and being like, yeah, that's it. There we go. Timeless classic. Nothing. Not much is going to beat that. And that's what they had that big dick energy. Merchant and Gervais were like. Well, no, but honestly, the confidence would be like crazy. 2 series, they could have done more. They could have done way more. They thought, fuck it. And they fucking went on. They admitted extras, which was brilliant. And they just smashed it. But they, you're not going to, The Office was just a timing thing, and also baffled people. People didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I thought it was real at one point, didn't they?
It was real, you know what I mean? So the US kind of, you can't copy it. You can't copy it. So the first
I love that big dick energy as well. You were talking about, like, I heard an anecdote that, like, Ricky and Steve walked into the BBC, and very much they kind of play that out in the extras, and they're like, well, we think we're going to, get you another writer. And Ricky apparently went, okay, cool, and stood up and just walked out. And Steve's like chasing after and going, no, wait, what you doing? He's like, I'm not giving it up. Like, I'm going to do it my way.
They wanted to direct it, which is unheard of, but never ever directed anything. You would not have a sniff, but they would directed it, wrote it, starred in it. Like, fucking hell, that shit doesn't happen anymore. And that's real big dick energy. But you know what? When you've got gold, then fucking like Jay, if you know that you've got this amazing song and people have big people have heard it, you could be like, I want this one. I want this many points. Like, no, all right, see you later. Like, when that's big energy. That's like, I know what I got gold,
it's so true, man. I was talking about that today. Actually, I had an interview today with the BC Asian Network about my new album, The Mistress, right? So it's the 3-part. It's Mistress 3, just came out, and Todd knows we were working on it. And I said, that's it. I'm done. I said for 6, last one came out 4 or 5 years ago. And I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I said, I'm leaving it at 2. To me, it was my little masterpiece. Didn't want to fuck it up. The same way that, that you were exactly talking about. And then in the end, inspiration hit me, much like they go and revisit and do the Christmas special. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to drop one more. But talking about with your character, I just want to talk about your characters for a second, because I know that you must get this the same way that I get, you fucking down, man. I'm a fucking down guy. And I'm like, you're still going to talk about down when I have 7 albums, over 400 songs or something, over 50 music videos, but there'll always be that one that they talk about. Just like Michael Jackson. I'm not comparing myself to Michael Jackson, but just like I'm sure if you went to a Michael Jackson concert, everyone's waiting for that where he grabs his dick and does the fucking dance. If he didn't do that, people would be pissed off, right?
Yeah.
So with you, does the Chabadi thing, when you're walking around, do you ever get tired of it? Like, oh man, allow it, man. Like, yeah, I get it, Chabadi. Or are you entirely grateful? And I don't know. I just want an honest answer. I guess.
Of course. I think of course I'm eternally grateful. But then also you have to understand that, like, we are human, bro. And I think when you do comedy, I think it's a bit different. Like with music, there's like, you guys are cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I always wanted to be a rock star. You know what I mean? I think every boy wants to be a rap star, a rock star. An R&B god, you know what I mean? Like, you get the girls, but you can be hard, and like, you have a respect straight. Bro, if you're doing comedy and you're running around in a leopard skin shirt and, you know what I mean, with your fucking belly sticking out, you're a clown. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but I am a clown. I am a professional clown. I'm here to make you laugh. I'm here to make you happy, right? And with that comes 2 things. I think first, of course, you're not and Chabadi's not intimidating. He's a friendly guy. He's like your mate, your friendly uncle, and that, yeah. And then there's also the element of, I feel like I know him, and that's a credit to the character, because you're like, I feel like me and Chabadi would vibe. Chabadi would come around, all right, mate, let's go brass house, let's go watch Match of the Day, point and that, chip a point. Like, you just be cracking up with him all day long. So there's that familiarity, and there's also that thing of like, he's a funny, very, not threatening, approachable guy. So when people meet me, that's what they think I am. Yeah. Especially if they don't know me as Asim, which, I mean, now it's happening more than knowing me as Asim, which I appreciate. But of course, I'm always going to be known as Chabadi, and that's not a bad thing. You know what I mean? I'm proud of that. But there is a respect sometimes that I demand, and I've learned, man, it's about putting up boundaries with anyone, not just fans, anyone. Of course, one day no one's going to give a shit, so you should always be eternally grateful. But there's just some things like, sometimes when like a white guy or a Gordo will come up to me, fucked off his face or something, and start doing a really bad Indian accent to my face.
Oh no!
Hey, come on, Chapati Papa Dama, and I'm like, oh, bro. Wow. You know what? Even if you come up to me and you're white, I don't care what color you are. If you come up to me and you do a good Chabadi accent, bruv, I'll spot you. I'll do a picture with you. Yeah, because, like, for example, Beats Hugo, he's a fucking expert at Chabadi accent. He can do a better Chabadi accent than Chabadi. Yeah.
Wow.
So if you can, because an accent is an accent, it's technical. If you're coming up and just doing some racist, and because you know what, it shows a lack of effort. You put no effort into you don't even know what you don't know the character. You just do a stupid racist accent. So that I don't like. So that gets locked off instantly, right? Also, the whole thing about when they come up to you and it's ready filming. Hey, listen, bruv, say something for my missus, and I'm like, oh, sorry, I'm out of character. And also, you I know it's not.
I'm out of character.
Out of character.
The fact that you have to say that is insane.
Yeah, I'm off duty, bruv. I'm off duty. You know what I mean?
Jay, sing down right now. Sing down,
mate.
But I mean, the one good thing is that there is a separation between. I'm not in leopard skin. I'm not. So there is. I just think there has to be barriers. If they ask me for a shout out video, right, that I just say no. Listen, we'll do a picture. I'm not gonna do a video because I'm out of character. It's gonna look weird. I don't do stuff. You don't see me, you know, a hoodie and a new era hat and doing a Chobuddy accent because Chobuddy doesn't wear that shit. I'm a purist. I'm a purist. You'll never find Chobuddy out of character anywhere. You'll never see me act Chobuddy in a, I don't know. I can't. You know, he wouldn't wear that.
Right.
I'm very, we all are. We're very strict about it. And we actually pull each other up when we're like, well, that was a bit weird for the character. Bro, we take it very seriously. And if you're a real fan, you understand that. So I'll do a picture. But if you're very nice and you've asked me to do filming, I'll do one for you and I'll say, look, just do it so it's just the face. So you don't get my gums.
Right.
So there's boundaries I put up, you know what I mean? And
that's beautiful. But you see why I asked you that question. You see why I asked you that? Because this is the kind of stuff you're never really going to get a chance to talk about in an interview because we're artists to artists now.
And of course.
I can relate because you don't want to be a cunt. If somebody comes up to me and says, "Oh, Jay, man, fucking sing blah 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 for me," now I've learned to say, "Yeah, put a quarter in the little hole there, mate." Just like if you think I'm a jukebox, like you know, me, mate. Yeah. That's it. Like, but that you don't want to be an asshole because they're just gonna go home and it was their one time they met you,
and they're gonna get yeah. Right. The one time I met Jay Sean and he was a prick. Yeah.
Right.
You're right. But also, bro, boundaries, man. And you know what? Like that guy will hopefully learn. Whoever. It's about respect, man. It doesn't matter who you are, celebrity, whatever. Who gives a fuck? You know what I mean? You don't just you just treat people well. I remember you also get those. You probably relate to this, Jay. Where we were there and I can't remember where I was at some dodgy bar in Croydon, and we were there and there was one geezer and he was a proper fan. It's your buddy, man. Oh my god, man. And his mate's there. And his mate doesn't know who I am yet, but he's getting pissed off the fact that his mate's getting gas. You know the one, isn't it, Jay?
God, of course I do.
The proper dickhead, Jay. He's standing there. You know, he's one of those guys who always has his chest out, trying to think he's Tonk. And he comes up to me, he's like, "Yo, what? You a comedian or something?" And I went, like I just thought I don't want to speak. And I went, "Yeah,
here
man."
We go. Yeah.
I went, "Yeah, I'm like an actor, comedian, whatever." And he went, "Oh, you're a comedian, yeah? Well, you're funny in that, yeah?" Yeah. And I went, he went, "Go on, you're a comedian." He went, "Go on, tell me a joke, then tell me a joke." And then I went, and this is what I always say. Yeah, I go, "What would you do, bub?" And he went, "Oh, I'm an engineer, isn't it?" And I went, "Yeah, go fix a fucking car then, mate."
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? I'm not on job.
Exactly.
I'm not on duty.
100%. I have always said
right now. You know what I mean? We're not defined by our profession, bro. We're off duty, bro. We're chilling.
And Todd, where were the horns for that? Come on.
And then he went away. And I walked away. He goes, "Can't tell these bloody celebrities anything." And I was like, "Fuck off, you dickhead." It's so annoying, bro. But you know, I said it in a funny way, which made his mate laugh, and it made avoid him, because you know. So but then I stopped caring for it. And actually, during the pandemic, it's been great because masks. You know, what I mean, masks. Actually, saying that though, bro, like, you know, in terms of going out, we're not really going out, but when we do go out, we've got masks and that. So you know, people are always a little bit. And sometimes Jay, you like this one. Sometimes I fuck with the Gorda, yeah. They come up to me, yeah, and they go, "Oh my god, like fuck off. Are you? Oh my days, are you Chobuddy G?" And then I go, "What are you trying to say, that we all look the same?" And they're like, "Oh my god, no, I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm mortified. And then I'm like, "Chill out, you dickhead. It is me. Get your phone out."
Yeah, it's true.
You know?
So you've got to have a laugh with it, innit?
You've got to laugh, bro. And I think sometimes they get that. Yeah, you got to, even when someone's being aggressive, you know, change the mood. If someone's being aggressive and someone's jealous, fucking take the mick out of them. Come on, you want to talk comedy? Let's do it then, bro. Come on, gun me. See what you got. You know what I mean? So it's about the energy, but also, man, you have to conserve your energy as well, because you can't be going out and taking pictures with every single person you meet and doing videos, bro. You'll be exhausted. That's your energy. You know what I mean? You've got to look after your energy, man. As performers, we can't be on 10. We can't be on 10 all the time. You know? And
talking about the energy, because I love. By the way, absolutely have loved this, bro. We'll get guests on who
it's been great.
Who are very informative and you learn a lot of stuff from, but very rarely can you have a fucking good belly laugh and like just have a great banter and learn so much as well.
Chemistry link, man. It's the Hounslow chemistry link.
That's for sure, man. And I'm saying that because I know you made time for this, and because when we were speaking about scheduling it, you were telling me
for a long time, man. Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man. Really.
And you were telling me, man. You were telling me that you got a busy schedule on, and that made me happy, because during this pandemic, there's so many people in our line of work who are stuck at home and really are going, "I've fucking got nothing to do." Because I'm used to being out on the road, or gig comedians, most comedians, I guess, stand-up comedians, they're on the road. So now they're sitting at home going, struggling, what can I do? So talking about that, please tell me that this movie that is finally coming out, right? I know it got kind of delayed a bit, the People Just Do Nothing movie, but what's the deal with
Big
that?
in Japan.
Big in Japan, man. You know what? Honestly, man, that is kind of like the Rona's going to decide when it comes out. To be honest, bro.
Right.
But it's shot, I guess. What I'm asking you, is it already shot?
It's all done.
Wicked. Okay, that's what I meant. Okay.
Post edit, everything's done, man. And actually, in a way, it's a bit of a blessing because we got to actually have much more time in the edit. We actually reshot some things. I'm sick of the fucking movie. I don't ever want to see it again. I've seen it 400 times.
So funny.
It's really good. I'm very proud of it, man. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to do, even if it doesn't become this big commercial success, which really we've never had. I quite like our level of success and fame, because I think when you get to a different level, it just becomes a little bit. It's everyone's, and I quite like that. Nothing has always still remained a little bit like. Have you heard of that show? That weird little pirate radio thing. And in my head, it's still just me. My mates fucking. But I never look at it as like this big show. You know what I mean? The Rona. When the Rona decides to stop being a little prick. And infecting everyone and finally fuck off out of our lives forever. Then it will. Then when it's open, he needs to fucking do one, man. This Rona prick.
You know what? You say that, right? I have to. My grandfather, he just, God bless his soul, he passed away 2 weeks ago. My nanaji, my mum's. He was very old though. He was 87, and he had major dementia. And it's the sweetest thing though, bro. He got taken by the Rona, but it was the sweetest thing because he had such bad dementia, we kept telling him, Nanaji, you can't go to the temple. You can't go to the Gurdwara. You can't go there. Coronavirus is everywhere. They haven't stopped it yet. You can't. It's too dangerous. It can kill you. And he said in Punjabi, but in English, he went, who's this Corona man? Why can't they catch him? And he literally thought it was a serial killer called coronavirus who was going around killing people. And that's why he couldn't go to the temple.
I mean, it might as well be though, right?
I know.
That is.
But I thought that was just the sweetest thing, And to this day, he still doesn't know like what happened. And
that's the thing, man. And that's, I'm really sorry to hear about that, man. And the one thing about dementia is that it's such a heartbreaking disease, but weirdly enough, it doesn't really affect the person that much because they're blissfully unaware of a lot of the stuff.
That's what I mean.
It's kind of like the people around them that it breaks their heart because they're the ones who have to look at their dad and the dad doesn't recognize them and all that kind of. That's the stuff that really is really heartbreaking. Right. But they, in a weird kind of. I don't know what it is, in a weird blissful ignorance and kind of thing. Like they don't know what's going on. So like, like a child, you protect a child from all that stuff. They don't know what's going on. Like a lot of kids don't know what the fuck's going on with this Rona shit. They don't know. They still want to be blissfully happy. And I think that's really sweet, man. I think that's, at least he went in a way that he wasn't, do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, man. Yeah.
But, bruv, I think we could talk for hours. I don't want to take up too much of your time. Bro, thank you so much, man. I really appreciated this. This was wicked. Thank you to our wonderful guest, Asim Chaudhry. And Toddy Boy, Woody, I will see you on next week's episode of Basement Banter. Peace.